Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I'm here in Las Vegas for an art show and also to visit a friend here, and I've noticed a couple of things since arriving here. Two things in particular. Number one, I am in the middle of, let's see, so far a 27-hour fast. And one thing I noticed is that I'm staying at a hostel, and I ran into quite a few conflicts that I quickly de-escalated this these last 24 hours in large part because I wasn't pigeonholed by I want to get out of this so I can go eat, right? The concept of wanting to quickly hastily deal with something just so I can get back to my food is what triggers me a lot, right? So for example, if I'm at a meeting at work with my boss and I'm thinking I gotta get out of this to get to my favorite food, it will trip me up 10 out of 10 times. I've learned not to do that, right? What really trips me up is when I have to see my boss unexpectedly, right? If I have a planned meeting with my boss, I will not schedule any food near that event, right? Or obviously things happen without warning all the time, right? Cars breaking down, um, an unexpected phone call of some sort. That always trips me up because I can never plan around those things, which makes me realize that I need to have better control over my eating faculties. Now, I had a friend who is recovering from alcohol, and I kind of got envious at him because he has been off of drinking for 3 years. And I got really envious because I can only imagine what life would be like if I could go 3 years without eating or having to think about it. Now, granted, even if I had the super ability to never eat a meal again, I would still have to live in a society where everybody else eats, right? So it might not be as simple as that, but even still, I got really envious talking to him because he and I shared some stories, and they were very parallel stories, by the way, of cravings and of how it tripped us up. And believe it or not, there was very little discernible difference between my food cravings and his alcohol cravings. And but it made me realize these last 27 hours how much food was tripping me up. Now, when people think about eating disorders, they often think about obesity or diabetes, and was I at risk of that? Probably not as much as I was at risk of all the social complications of having food cravings intrude on my life, right? Okay, the other thing I noticed is that at the hostel that I'm staying at, we have people from all around the world. Now, I really got envious at how the culture looks like around the world. So here in the US, okay, so I am dating a distant cousin of Eve Curry, as you guys have heard me talk about a lot. Unfortunately, we often don't have time for each other because of our work commitments. And it's made me realize how precious my time is, right? And in past jobs, I have often uh, gone above and beyond, and it didn't get recognized, right? I was working at a tutoring center, and I had filled in for a colleague who wanted to take time off to go with his family to Disney, if you could believe it, and then I filled it in because I was thinking that I got a lunar eclipse coming up. I'm going to need his help too. And I even told him about it, and then he gaslighted me when the eclipse came up. Oh, I didn't know you were going away that day. I forgot about it or whatever. Granted, I was being a little bit more trusting and maybe a little bit naive. I should have put it in writing and all that. Yeah, I get that, but I really disdain the idea that I have to put these things in writing. So, for example, earlier this year, I teach at a community college now. Earlier this year, I decided to take a day off during Valentine's Day to go see a girl that I met on a dating app, and I talked to my boss about it, and then I had to go back to email my boss to keep it in writing, and I really disdain that because it's not hard for me to send an email, right? After all, I do need to burn those couple of calories to type on the keyboard. That's not the hard part. The hard part is knowing that I don't have a place that I can trust 100%, right? I met some people in New Zealand today, and talking to them, it didn't feel like their work culture behaved like that. It's just unsettling more than anything else that I can't trust people 100%, right? Uh, and then at other places, I've lived with roommates where I have to hide the toilet paper, hide the kitchen utensils, and it's like I was at a home one time, and my kitchen utensils kept disappearing, and I would talk to my roommates about it. He says, well, why don't you just keep it in your room? And yeah, it's not hard for me to put my stuff in my room. What's hard is that I want to have a place where I could trust people, right? Maybe I'm asking for a little bit too much, but all right. So I realize I still have a lot to work on with my eating disorder, and I realize that maybe I don't necessarily like the culture here in the United States. I'm going to be traveling in Taiwan soon, so why don't you pray for me by leaving a dislike? I got a publication that I'm submitting in Taiwan. Hopefully, I'll network with the right people, consider pivoting my career, and pray that one of these days I stop eating altogether. I've almost thought about, believe it or not, I'm not suicidal or anything, but I've almost thought about just stopping eating and just slowly fading away and enjoy the last 1 or 2 months of one final fast. I've almost thought about that because I'm always at so much peace when I'm fasting, right? Nothing bothering me. I can enjoy taking a walk through Las Vegas and not think about my next meal and not be bothered by it if a conflict were to arise, to be able to actually resolve conflict, right? Rather than, oh my God, how do I jump out of this so I can get to my food? Oh my God, how do I get out of this? My roommate was screaming at me. How do I get him to shush? I just want to get to my food. And thoughts like that often stifle creative conflict resolution, right? I can't tell you how many times I've bad things have arisen from that, right? And talking to my friend who's an ex-alcoholic, I quickly realized that the two of us had a lot of parallels, much more so than you would think. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.